today just to say hi to you all at least. Just to let you know.
Thank you for the first minutes. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
Let's see. We have if we remove the AI assistants, I think we have some good people already online. Yeah, I think I saw Kim joining. Hello everyone. Welcome everyone. Justin, I see also here. Mohammed Arabiat, Ryan, I saw you. Tanel, yes, we. Okay, cool. Maybe. Hello. Dr. Charity also, I think, yes, able to join. Very good, very good. And I think I have someone messaging me that he couldn't join. I'm just going to send the link. Bill, is that?
I heard an Eli, did I not? Did I hear it from a beautiful lady?
Yeah, I think we have a face reveal, no? We're supposed to.
I do believe it's a beautiful lady that we're about to see today in the flesh. Is that not the case? Oh, damn.
Jasmine, I don't know if she's there.
No,
Yeah.
the assistant is there.
Yeah, she's here somewhere.
Okay, looks like my fight with my shirt is not going anywhere. Let's just leave it that way.
The shirt's winning.
I've been fighting with it without a mirror. It's very hard. So you guys,
I've got
forgive me.
I've got 10 to 1 on the shirt, lads.
Yeah,
10 to 1.
undefeated.
I abandoned the fight. All right, let's load the presentation. We have here for our week 4. Okay, just some last settings, if you guys don't mind. Okay, we're ready. Recording is there. Let's share screen. All right. Let's see. Is this visible enough, guys? Especially Eli, if you can please help. I'm gonna make
someone
it.
help to see if there's a screen because I'm on my mobile at the moment.
Oh, okay. Yes, I think I see.
It looks good. It looks real good.
We see a lot of plus. Very good. Excellent.
Audio's good. Visual's good.
Alan, I recognize your voice. Welcome.
Yes, sir. I recognize yours too.
Yes. Yeah. Excellent. So today, again, like we said, this month we try to be more and more practical, but there is some few things that we want to look at. And forgive me, guys, I need to stop sharing and admit few people. This is one of the things that we still have to solve, Eli, and we're getting there. But let's do that. And also somebody is contacting me on, yeah, Eric. It's Eric. We have to let Eric in. And Ed also is trying to join. Let's give him a link.
Now, some of these formats have it where you can set it up to allow people to join automatically, Mohammed. I don't know if this particular format, but Zoom has it.
No, definitely. At first, we tried Zoom, and then it was a smaller number of people joining, and then for the same price, we thought Google Meet is better, but it was not a good choice. But we have a new tool actually that we are testing with Eli. It's just that we didn't send the notification to inform everyone. So probably this is the last time we are using Google Meet, hopefully. Okay, Zach also is here, and I think we can start. Zach, welcome. We're good to go. So, quick intro and updates. Yes, we are moving forward now. And today it's going to be a little bit different. We are going just to clarify a point that we actually had a discussion with Eric. Then I realized that maybe we need to clarify a few things about JSONB and vector fields. What are the differences and what are the commonalities? And also get your feedback and your questions, guys, to make sure that we understand what is the benefit and why we are investing in JSONB and vector fields on top of the regular database fields. And Bill, I think, Bill, you have probably the most in-depth experience about all these AI-friendly formats. So please help us get what are the benefits for small, medium, and big companies. I think everybody can benefit from this. It's just there is a way to explain it, and maybe we don't have to be super technical. So that's what we will try to do in point 2, clarification. Then we will just show you very quickly our backend. Finally, I think almost all of you received your backend. Maybe a few of you have not yet received it, but we will present what it is very quickly, and then we will do a demo of using the Directus PostgreSQL backend, and we want to show you what we've been working on, which is how to make scraping much faster and much more organized by scraping the data from a website and directly putting it in the database in our backend, and then it appears for our teams. It's almost like you go on the fly, you scrape the data, and you have it almost ready as a lead management tool, like a small Apollo, and then we can enrich the data as we go. And then our usual questions and answers. So let's just look at where we are right now. We are in the point 3 about scraping the data. So we did the files and the PDF last week. Now we are doing the web bots, or the web scraping, but also we're directly inputting the data in the backend, the PostgreSQL database. We will come back in another session and we will do Google Sheet, because for some projects, Google Sheet can do the job. And many people have actually small projects or some projects where they ask about how to use Google Sheet. So we will come back to that later. Okay, some quick words about what we are using as a technology. So we really focused on PostgreSQL, and maybe I am not pronouncing it well. I think it's in English, it's PostgreSQL. Bill, I will rely on you for the right pronunciation. Is that correct?
Yes, SQL.
SQL. So PostgreSQL is almost like the logo. The logo tells the story. It's the elephant in the room in terms of databases, even for the corporate world. And somehow, even Oracle and Microsoft SQL, like we saw last time, they haven't jumped fully into the vector side and JSONB. And PostgreSQL is open source. We can self-host it. So we kind of settled on this type of database, and maybe we can use other databases around. And this is the ecosystem, the possible ecosystem around PostgreSQL. And in your instances, guys, Tanel, that's also what you received, I think. We activated 2 important extensions, but there are so many that we will use as we go and as we need them. The first one that we activated is called PGVector. This is what allows us to convert certain fields in our database to vector fields. And then we can vectorize images or documents and save them as vector inside of PostgreSQL. The extension that allows us to do that is called PGVector. And this is installed in all of your instances, guys. The second extension that we are installing is called PostGIS. It's a geospatial extension that allows us to input map and geolocation data. So you can put map points. Somebody maybe need to mute, please. I'm not sure who it is. And this allows us to create our own maps, either by point, by polygons or lines or heat maps. It will allow us to scrape and enrich the data from a geospatial perspective. There is other geospatial tools that we can use later on. There are some tools for elevation and so on to build 3-dimensional maps, but that is only for specific use cases. So these 2 are really the base for us, PGVector and PostGIS, and that's what we are at the moment. And we put all this into a Debian Linux server that we have hardened for each one of you guys. And then we have installed Directus as the backend on top of PostgreSQL to create the backend. So for those who have not seen the backend yet, I'm going to show you here, demo. I have it loaded here actually. This is the backend. Get this here. So when you receive the access and you're signed out, the landing page will be like this. And this can be personalized with your logo and everything. This is just the initial demo. And I'm going to log in with my default, which you should also change when you receive them. It has user access roles and policies, so we can create different types of roles. But what you will get, guys, is that we already loaded here. If you go to settings, data model, we already loaded what we suggest for people who do not know yet about their database schema, but we know that we want to scrape data and we want to organize it into company information and then contacts, human people, and then maybe from there we will have multiple contact details per person, multiple addresses, and then we will have campaigns to outreach to them. We may have jurisdiction because a contract and a tax or something can be linked to a jurisdiction. Documents management, news, contract management, parties management. This is the abstraction level we talked about. So we prepared so many tables that are here, including the ones for intent. If you remember, Eli, we want to recognize intent somewhere in a social media that they want to buy a 4-wheel drive. And then that's where we can record labels, intent, and we can use AI to understand that there is a trigger, an intent, and then to reach out and customize our messaging so that we can have like a very specific, very timely and very contextualized outreach, not just blasting mass emailing like that. I think, Tanel, we talked about this in our one-on-one sessions. It's, I think, Tanel, you had, was it you had 20 or 30% conversion when you were customizing your outreach?
Yeah, that's from the last year what I did for NGO just to fundraise. So as soon as I did some personalization and by the name and the address and that's and very short, nice email, it works.
Yeah.
Like so.
And you did that manually at that time?
That time I did almost manually. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's.
So now
but here what I see is also like yeah, as we also discussed, to scrape the social media, and if it's possible, you know, what is also really important, it's one is to scrape the data, but then to update, to be updated, and also the social media, you know, what they are posting, to have it automatically updated here as well all the time.
Exactly.
So we can generate new ideas, new campaigns, and to be really spot on to with the client.
Yeah, that's exactly why we prepared all these tables. But we will activate it. We will activate the tables as we go in the programs together, guys. And here, what you were referring to, Tanel, is what we will do when we reach enrichment data. So now we're scraping the data and then we organize it. Then we're going to format it so that we can get clean data. We format the phone numbers, the emails, the addresses, cities, zip code, and so on. And then we can really start enrich. And enrichment can be a monitoring bot, what we call a monitoring bot. It can go again and again every 5 hours, every day, every week to fetch some data from somewhere to keep your data alive and then notice that there is a trigger. You can even fetch data every 1 hour. If you have like an influencer that is posting a lot of things about your industry, we have already automations to go to that LinkedIn or that Facebook, see everybody who reacted with a thumb up or a comment, grab their handles, find their contact and say, hey, they like that kind of post, so they may be interested in XYZ. So that's in our plan, and that's what we are preparing. But at the moment, we are still in the scraping side of it. So we only, so when you come here, you can hide, this is a folder to organize, but every table you can make it hidden or visible. So we only made visible for you guys what we need to start scraping. So that's the Directus setup that we have for now. So if you have some questions, I'm happy to take them now. If not, we can go through the demo and then we can take longer questions, whichever way you guys prefer. Looks like I can go ahead.
Of course.
No, Alan, I think Alan raised the hand.
Yeah, quick question. How much of the database has to be produced before it can be useful?
useful for selling the data or acting upon it, or useful for starting the enrichment?
All of the above.
Yes.
Well, commercially viable, I guess. Commercial viability is kind of what I'm.
Commercial viability. So yes.
Yeah.
So I have some personal ideas based on our experiences with RTILA, but maybe some niches it will be different. So this, what you're talking about, is between step 6 and step 7. So that means that we have enriched the data, and now we want to start to push it to the front end to our customers and monetize the data. So if you have, I should not call it low value data, but if you have data that has a free origin from a government database or publicly available, then you have to go into more mass and more enrichment, because people will think, hey, if it's a Google map, I can go myself. If it's a database of public, so that depends what kind of data you're sourcing. So if you're sourcing from a public source that is quite easily accessible, even if it's a bit painful, then I think, Alan, you need to go into the 100,000s or millions data rows, because then people say, oof, he did some job. It's not only the enrichment, but it's also the volume. So now you will have enough volume with the enrichment to satisfy the payment and the exchange with the customer. So that's my personal experience. Like, if you go in the 1 million, 2 million, 10 million data rows about companies, people will even just pay you for the volume. If you just bring it into one place and it's about a niche or something, just that volume is already valuable. Now, if you have access to a data set that is not public, that is either behind a paywall or that belongs to a specific company or your company and is based on proprietary data, you don't need so much data. You can do with 10,000 rows, 100,000 rows, because then the analytics side of it and the enrichment is going to be much more valuable. So let's say you have data about pediatric clinics in Germany, and you have all of them, and there are just 50,000 in the country, and you have the 50,000 of them, and you enrich a lot of data about pediatricians, you know, like subspecialty, doctor, years of experience, whatever. Then your 50,000, 10,000 rows of data is so valuable, and they would pay maybe $50 a month subscription, maybe $100 a month. So that's how I see it. I hope it makes a bit of sense, Alan.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Please send me the 50,000 German entries then, Mohammed. Thank you.
No, you are already grinding them.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? Wie geht's
Yeah, it's my
dir?
son.
Okay, let's continue.
Sorry.
No worries. Hey, hello.
Hello.
Hello. You're gonna be an AI automation expert. You're starting so early.
Yes.
Super nice. Thank you, Eric. And maybe I will use again your instance to show some stuff as well.
No worries at all.
Zach,
You can do it.
Thank you very much. All right, let's look at the demo, yeah? Or unless there is a question, I didn't see any hands being raised. I may be wrong. Eli, do you have a view on the hand raising or chats?
Unfortunately, not on my mobile. It's very difficult to see the hand raising.
So. Oh yes, I forgot. Yes, so I'm not gonna bother you too much. Let's go into the demo. So this is also an experience that Eric is ahead of us. He started maybe 2-3 months ago. And Google Map is a fantastic source of data. It's humongous. It's like the juggernaut of B2B information. And basically almost many businesses have a listing on Google Map. And even businesses that did not create a listing on Google Map, they have a listing because their customers create their listings for them just to share the information. So there is a tremendous amount of information, but there is so much information that you can get lost in the way that you scrap. So this is a methodology that we are proposing, and maybe also here, Zach, you already started this as well, but maybe there's some adaptation you can get from this approach. and your instance will be ready end of this week or early next week for you to pick up on this. So this is what we advise, is that you split your Google Maps projects by keyword and location, or by industry and location, so that it can be under control. So what you would do here is first create a project inside the source collection. The source can be anything, not only Google Maps. So for example, I could create a new source that could be, for example, I'm gonna scrape Trustpilot financial category, and then what kind of source it is a directory, and then I can put the URL, and I can estimate how many entries are there, 250,000 for example, how many items per page, 20, and then this is for us to organize with our teams. Does this website apply thresholds that I should not go too fast? So for example, LinkedIn, you can't do more than 100 actions per hour or something. So maybe Trustpilot, we can only do, so this is an hourly rate. Let's say we can only do 500 per hour. And then this is a public or behind a login wall or paywall. So you can organize your sources. And then this allows you to work with teams, because you, as a business owner, you can specify all the sources and the modalities on how you want to scrape that data. You can share credentials or whatever you want, and then you can let the people and the bots do the job. So today example, I created what I call Butch Plumb to find the butchers and the plumbers of New York, the gangsters. Yeah. So this is the project of today, and I'm going to use Google Maps, and the source URL is Google Maps. So I created my source. Once I create my source, the objective is that I will go to the source and I will combine some keywords and create source pagination items. So this is important, guys. It looks like useless, but because there are so much results on big websites, that it is very useful to scrape the pages, the paginations, not yet the listings, but the paginations. For example, on Trustpilot, there may be 200 pages to go through, and every page has 20 businesses. So that's what we advise. Before you scrape the single listings, go and get the paginations first, because that will enhance our pagination and our recovery and resuming the automation. Once we have all the paginations in there, then we go back into the paginations URLs and we grab every single URL of every business, and that's what we call source listing item. It's not yet the data that you want, but it's the direct link to the page where the company informations are. That's what we want to share with you. Once we have the source listing items here, then we will finally scrape the data and organize it into the organization table. And the organization table has all the fields that we want. And this looks like maybe extra steps from what we do normally. You know, we just go scrap and get a CSV file, but we get very fast, we get lost with CSV files. And here we will not touch a single CSV file. And our data is going to be classified, organized, and we can do statistics. So let's run this, and hopefully my Google Map didn't change. So we will share with you in the course. You can download this, but we have three Google Map automations, and we put the number GMAP 1, GMAP 2, GMAP 3. And we advise you to run them in this particular order. So let me show you very quickly what is GMAP 1 doing. GMAP 1, when I open it, and I open RTILA here, I'm going to just make it a little bit bigger here for us to have a better view. I'm going also to open the inspection panel in the console side, and I'm going to open also my Directus instance. Here is my Directus instance. Okay, I can see everything while I am in here. So if you look at this automation, basically, it's a loop in a loop. It's a loop of keywords. I want to get all the butchers, all the plumbers, and then you can add as many keywords as you want here, hundreds of keywords. And I want all these keywords for all these locations, Manhattan and Brooklyn. And now we have a loop in a loop. It will do a combination of keyword and location. And then it will create for me all the pagination URLs for Google search. So I'm going to combine, you see here, what I'm going to do here is that Let's open this as well. And let's look at our Google Map here. Okay. So we have here a configuration. What you need to do, guys, when you download this template is you need to replace the base URL with your backend URL. For us, it's demo.aiabas.com, but you will have your own URL. Just change this part here. Be careful that there is not double slash. It will break the automation. So make sure that there is only one slash and put your URL. The second thing that you need to do is you need to update your GWT token, your authentication token. Let me show you very quickly how to update that. When you are connected to your admin area in Directus, you go to users and you go to your first user here, the admin user, and you scroll down towards the bottom. There is here the token, and this is the API token. So you just click here, it will generate a token. You copy it and you push it into your configuration here. And you need to do this for every Directus command. Yeah, update your base URL of your Directus, update your token credential, and the rest should work as is. So what we are doing here is that we are having a syntax, and we can do another specific course about this, but we have like a syntax on how we write data into our Directus database, which is we start with ##, the field type, and then followed by the name of the field, and then we have a pipe, and then we can feed the data that we want. It can be dynamic data, it can be fixed data, static data, or it can be CSS selectors. And we have here how you can use CSS selectors with the attribute. So we will come back to this. The power of this command, this is our Directus API command, is that it can not only feed static data, dynamic data, but also relational data. So here I'm saying that I'm going to update the many to one field to relate this pagination URL to the source. And this is the source name that I'm using. It's Butchers of New York. And actually I made a mistake. It's not Butchers of New York, because what I did is that I renamed it. So I'm going to go and get back the real name of this source that we are using today. So I go back here, source, and it's actually Butchplums, Butchplum. Now here, an important thing is that normally via API, you cannot use the name of another field. You have to use the unique ID, which is #1 here. This source has #1, but our command is able to recognize that you want to go to the source and dot source name. That means that it will look Butchplum of New York inside the source name field, and then it will replace for you Butchplum of New York with the ID 1 and send it to PostgreSQL Directus for you, so that you guys can stay at the semantic level and you don't have to worry about the IDs, which is a bit complicated. So that's what we do with this command. And I'm going to run it and we're going to look at what it does. Okay. Again, like I said, we can spend more time on this, but let's launch this and let's look at the console log. I open the console log here. It's starting. Something happened. Eli, do you still hear me?
Totally.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I noticed all the note taker
Yes.
dropping on the call. So.
Yeah, I saw dropping, so I was afraid people were dropping. So this went very fast.
Lots are dropping.
Excellent. This went very fast, guys, because this automation just creates the list of keywords and for the pagination. So if I go to the pagination URL now, it created for me the combination of the two keywords with the two locations. So I have butcher in Manhattan, butcher in Brooklyn, plumber Manhattan, plumber Brooklyn. Yeah.
Eli, can you mute? It's repeating and echoing. So.
Eli, that's Eli. Yes, please, Eli. Thank you, Eli. So this is the step 1, yeah? From the source of Butchplum of New York, we got our initial search URLs. And you see here, it has created for me the exact search URL that I can use now to go and grab all the listing URLs. So now when I'm going to show you the second step, pagination 2, GMAP 2. So GMAP 2 is going to read. So we can go about this very quickly. But basically what it does here is that it goes, again, you change this with your own, you change the token, and then I can collapse this. And here it's a read operation. It looks for all the entries that have draft, because draft, that means that we have not processed them. When we process them, we will mark them as done. So it will look for all the listings that have draft, and it will return to me the ID number and the pagination URL for Google Map. And let me show you here, if I run this, it's going to connect to the API, and it got me the ID number and the Google Map search. Now I can feed this, you see, I can feed this data to a list and go to every URL and then do a loop and then scroll. So it will visit every single URL. It will scroll just one time. So here, very important guys, I limit the scroll to 1 for our demo because it's very long. If you want it to scroll all the way down, you put 0 like this, 0 here in the limit of the scroll, and then it will scroll all the results. So I just keep 1 for us to view. So it will scroll for us. It will count how many results are there. So for example, here I can run this command and it's going to tell me there are 9 results. So this is good for us to know every query search how many results are there. And then it will go, and this is another command that we call Directus API batch. It will grab all the companies here in one go and create the listing URLs about them. We get the name, we get the source item URL, we get the source ID number 1 and the source pagination item, which is the page, the pagination or the search results that is related to every entry here. And it's going to create for us those entries. So let's run it so that it makes more sense for you guys. So when you see this the first time, it's a little bit overwhelming. But once you run it a couple of times and you start seeing your data populating, then that's where it becomes interesting. So you see here we got all the 4 URLs of search. Now it's going to go through, it's going to scroll a little bit. And I'm going to open also this for us to see what's going on at the same time here. Okay. So it did something. Now it's scrolling the second search page. And if I go now into my source listing, I should start to have some, it's scrolling now. Plumber Manhattan. Yes, I think it did something. Let's reload. Yes, you see now we have already 18 source listing URLs coming from here. You can see this company name came from this keyword and location, this source, and now we have the direct URL to the actual Google listing My Business URL to load their data to scrape it. So now it did all 4, and you can see now if I reload it, we're going to have a little bit more businesses there. Yeah, now we have 42 source listing items ready to be scraped. And if I go back to source pagination, it was draft, now it's all done. So this is important because this will allow us to resume when some are give an error or something. I don't have to scrape again because I know that this keyword and this location, it got me 18 results and this one got me 12 and 12. So I have all the statistics, and if I go into Plumber Brooklyn, I can see here the data. And if I go to source listing items, I can go to anyone here, and I can see that it's related to this source and related to this pagination item. And then later on, we're going to relate it to a business as well. So this was GMAP 2, automation number 2. Now let's get the real data. So that's GMAP 3. GMAP 3 is about getting the business data. So what it does here, very quickly guys, we can cover this in detail on the technical side of it. It goes into the Directus and the PostgreSQL database to source listing items, and it goes and look for all the ones that are draft. So let me show you which ones are draft. You see here, it's draft. That means that this listing has not been scraped. So it will return me all the draft listings, and I can show you here. And you can put a limit. 0 means it will return all the listings available. If I put 5, I will get only the last 5. So I'll leave it at 0. So it gets me all the listing URLs that are still draft. I get the ID, and I get the source item URL, which is the actual URL of the Google My Business listing of that business. Then once we get that, we feed it to the list. Then we go to that business URL. We grab the longitude and the latitude from the URL. We grab a whole bunch of all the data we want: company name, website, stars, phone, reviews, address, logos, pricing, and all these things that are available in the listings. And then we feed all that dynamic data that we just got with the selectors to every database field that we have in organization. You see, this feeds the phone, this feeds the category, the number of reviews, the stars. And again, we have relationship fields, and we have geolocation fields here as well. So we're feeding the longitude and we're feeding the latitude, and our command will do the right job to create the GeoMap entry in the database so that actually it's ready to see on a map. This normally would require you guys to have a developer to do this, but now we are able to do it from the scrape on the fly, feed it in a certain way that Directus can already display it in the map. So this is what GMAP 3 does. And then once it gets all the data of every business, it will go back to the source listing item, and then it will look into that specific listing that we did, and it will change the drop-down status from draft to scraped. Then we know that we scraped that business URL. So that's how it works. Let's run it and look at the results. And let me show you first before we start. We are in organization. We don't have anything yet. Yeah. Now we need to convert from source listings to actual data scraped from the business listings. So let's launch now Google Map 3. Okay. And I open here. So we're starting the job. These are all the URLs that we are going to have in this loop. This is business 1, Smith Plumbing and Kansas. Okay. There it's starting. Okay, got the longitude, latitude. It's writing into Directus. It's written. It has ID 127. So now if I reload here, I should have already that business in my database. There it is, Smith Plumbing. And what we got the name, we got the URL, the phone number. They have 364 reviews, 4.9, which is very good. We have the address in JSON. We can clean it later and separate it. We have some other data that maybe we find. Let's see. And all these fields can be enriched with other bots. So the source is Batch Plumb of New York. The source listing item is this one, and we got the first image, and we got the location in Manhattan. I can zoom in and I can see exactly where this business is in Manhattan to the street level. So it's very precise. And then we will have some other fields that we will catch here and there as we go and we enrich. So this is the first batch of data we're getting from Google Map, and you see that the businesses are piling up now. Now I have, how many? 5 or 6, yeah? This one doesn't have a website. And we have here, when you look at an organization, we have another bot that we will share with you guys. If the business has a website, then we go and we visit the website and we find the email address, we find the social media, and then we fill up the LinkedIn, the Twitter, the Facebook, whatever they have, Instagram. We can further enrich, and that will be part of the enrichment phase, yeah? Right now, we're still focused on scrapping. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's wait for at least 10 results. So this now, because it's stable and it's very well organized, and it takes the data dynamically, it knows, RTILA knows which listing it should scrape from the statuses. Now you can run this like on schedule. Every hour you run it again. Every hour it will do 100 business, or every few minutes it will do 100 business until it will go through the 50,000, 100,000. If you manage it well, you can even go into the millions of data entries. We have prepared the database and the scripts and the automations to get you guys to the next level of scrapping. So let's see here. Everything is very quiet. Do you mind, guys? Somebody says hello, just to know that I'm still connected.
Hello.
Okay,
Hello,
cool.
Moto.
I see the thumbs. Very good.
Hello.
Thank you, thank you. I see you guys are reactive. You didn't fall asleep. So I stop it now because really this was about a demo. But let's look at the data. Here, let's see what we have. And I'm going to reorganize this for us to talk as well as we look at the data. I could have run I could have had RTILA running in the backend, and my team may not have seen RTILA at all. They may have just dealt with the sources, the keywords, and the data is coming up into the database. They don't have to see RTILA running. We see RTILA running because we developed that automation, but you now have the power to share this backend and have RTILA and other tools working behind and bringing everything together. So let's see what we have right now. We have 10 businesses, 12 businesses. And one of the advantages of what we're doing here is that if I click here and I open this tab, I can change the layout and I can display now in a map view. And here are my businesses. So some of them, they went in another state. But if I zoom in into New York, I'm going to have some businesses in Manhattan here. That's the 12 businesses. And you see, we now have a map view of our scrape data, and we haven't developed a single line of code. We are able to present to our team, our clients, a view, a geolocation view. We are able to present a table view. We are able to present a Kanban view. If let's say from draft to processing and then you can change what you display here. You can display the business name, you know. So all these views, or you can display it as cards, and you can choose what you display as a card. All these are powerful things. So if you deal with data, you can also display as a calendar. And this just gives like so much more visual value to our data. And as you can see, I have not downloaded the CSV file. I did not upload the CSV file. I did not have to go and correct and mark as done. RTILA did it for me. It did here. It marked all these first pagination URLs as done. And then the first listing items URLs that we had, the ones that were scraped are marked scraped. So if I launch again RTILA GMAP 2, it will go and do the ones remaining for draft. But the ones that have been done are already marked as scraped, no double job, no double entries. And now I have my data for my businesses. And then here we will have other bots that will come and we'll look here. If it's draft, it will start to, if it has a URL, it will go and enrich from URL. Then once we enrich from URL, we mark it as now we need to enrich from social media. So tunnel, that's the second step of social media. Then once we finish enriching from social media, maybe we can grab some data from some specific APIs. Once we have that, maybe we can, from free APIs, then we can have some from paid APIs. For example, we couldn't find the email and phone number. Let's get it from Apollo. It's okay. 80% I find for free. The 20% remaining phone numbers and emails, I get them from Apollo and I enrich my data. Now I have super enriched data for 10-20% of the cost if I had to do it with Apollo alone. And then I can do AI deep search. I can go on this company and do an AI deep search with ChatGPT or DeepSeek or Llama 3.3 or 3.4 and get even more semantic about this data, what they sell, what they buy, what they may be interested in. And then what we're planning is that once you have done all this, you exhausted all the enrichment that can be done automatically, then a human can come and enrich it. Don't forget that we are humans and there are some data that bots and AI may not get. So we still plan a human enrichment where a person can come and say, hey, I have the feeling that this can be this, and let's add a new status and a new tag. And then these guys should give us very nice enrichment level that is almost automated fully, maybe 80-90%. And here we can go into massive volumes without sacrificing the quality and the targeting. I hope it makes a bit of sense, guys. And I spoke a lot, and let's look at questions. And after that, maybe, or before that, I can show you how you can guys generate graphs. So there is this option called Insights, and you can create a dashboard. And the dashboard basically will show you where you are in your scraping and transformation, and that's where we use Eric instance.
Let's go.
Thank you, Eric. I think you made some progress, no?
Oh yeah, I did. Check out the second graph.
Super cool. So here Eric is already battling. How you call it? How you call that in English? Is machine gunning Google Map Germany. He's scrapping all the cities, all the businesses.
It's running, as you see. 1 minute ago. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's still running. So let's look at what you have. So he followed the same approach. We built this methodology together. So he has his paginations that are done. He has the listings, and he has almost 40,000 of them. And every listing can give 10 to 50 businesses. So there is a potential for almost 600,000, maybe 1 million business entries as he goes. And then I think you started to have organizations that are coming in. Yeah, this just was scrapped like this. So you have a bot running right now.
Correct.
Nice. And we can look, I think this becomes impressive once you start to have data, because if we look at your map, now we're going to realize what Eric is doing. He's carpeting Germany. He's getting all the businesses in all the states and cities. So this is for just 1,000 out of the 9,000. So you can do filters and go into a specific city. But the interesting side of having data, now we can manage visually our progress. This is the dashboard of Eric, and he can see how many total search URLs he has gone through. He has a total of 40,000. Out of the 40,000, he got already almost 4,800 pagination URLs or results URLs. That means that URLs that may have 50 businesses in them. And then out of these 4,700 search URLs on Google, he already got 38,000 individual Google Map listing URLs of businesses. And out of these 38,000, he scraped the data of 20,000. And now we can see his progress. And if we do here refresh, we can refresh every 10 seconds. And you know, what we like to do after suffering so much, Eric, is that I have my coffee and I have my Madeleine. And I look at RTILA creating value for me, and you know, if you guys are into cigar, that will be the cigar time, or whatever you're into. So that's where the reward starts to happen. And after a lot of work and a lot of trial error, we're happy to bring this to you guys. And now you can use this tech stack of this Linux server with a dedicated database and dedicated backend plus RTILA, and now we can see our data. They start to speak to us. Even though we are at the stage of scrapping. So let's take some questions. And again, Eric, thank you for your patience, and thank you for allowing us to use you as a guinea pig.
Thank you, guys. No, this has been running since Saturday, and it's very, very, very reliable.
Oh, that's cool.
And I can just tell you, guys, when you do it, don't add too many links at once. So what I do is I add 10 to 15 to each project, just to be on the safe side. And that's why it's a lot slower than it could be. But this way, the computer will hold up, as the 8 gigabyte RAM server has its limits.
Yes.
And those are 2 projects running 15 URLs each, just to make to give you guys a good measure.
Yeah, and also Google Map is not easy to scrape, because Google Map loads a lot of JavaScript and overloads the CPU and the RAM very quickly. If we were scrapping another website, we can go like 10 times faster on another website. But Google Map is super heavy. It loads the whole map and the whole 3D engine. But that's still a very good speed, I think. And we can scale horizontally, Eric. We can take a second VPS, a third VPS, and run 2 automation on each.
Absolutely, and that's so cool. Yeah.
So the power of this, just Eric, for our team also to understand, PostgreSQL can handle up to 100 concurrent queries. So that means that you could be running 50 RTILA bots. Sorry, you can have 100 RTILA bots working at the same time on this setup. So that could be a massive amount of data being exchanged and saved. Thank you, Eric. Any questions, guys? Yeah, Ryan, I see your hand. Yes, I think Let's go with Ryan first, please. Ryan.
Thank you. That was fantastic. In terms of a few minutes ago, you're talking about setting up this for our teams.
Yeah.
Is there anything that like our team members would have to have set up on their own computer or hardware, or is this essentially just leveraging a URL login for to the whatever we set up for them on the back end?
So I think we have to split two types of users, Ryan, because I was not very clear. So let's call them admin assistant or project manager users that you do not want them, or they don't want to get involved in running the actual bots, the actual automation of RTILA. You don't even give them access to RTILA, because RTILA bots, they can run continuously in the background, but you want them to manage the project because you have so many sources to scrape. So you can just give them access to this, and you can set up here the users. You can create a new user here, and you can create roles. When you go to the configuration here, you can create user roles with specific access. And then, for example, you can tell them they can only access the source, and their job is to create the sources and to create the pagination items with which keywords and which locations we want to mix up on every project. And that could be like, let's call them data acquisition managers or data scrapping managers. You can also give them access to the business listings for them to correct, to review, you know. So let's call them backend users, backend admin users. And then you have other users, which are automation management users, to whom you can give the RTILA automation projects. Plus, you give them, each one of them, when you create their account, you generate for them their own token here, their own API token, so that when they use RTILA to pull and push data, we know who did what. In case something breaks something, you can monitor, even if they are pushing and pulling data from the API, we know when and how and what happened. And this way you keep security, tracking, logging in the proper way. So these are two users that will require two different approaches or two different trainings. And guys, we will also as we go, we will provide you with material on how to train different team members, how to train, let's say, a back-end administrator, how to train an RTILA or an automation. They don't have to be developers. We can train them. And one person can do both. One person can do the back-end management plus the RTILA bots.
Thank you. That's super helpful. One other quick follow-up. Then
Please,
is this all running? This is all running on the servers, not on their local desktop laptop? Or I guess part of what I'm trying to figure out, the question behind this is, do I need to provide laptops and things to team members to run them?
Not necessarily, because like Eric is doing, he has a local computer that he uses, but he also has a VPS. Zach, you have multiple VPSs, I think. You have one or two or three. So you could have, Ryan, multiple VPSs just with RTILA bots that are doing the job. So you don't have to have your team members have a computer. They can have a tablet, and with the tablet they log in here and they just manage the data for you. They manage the clients, they manage the delivery. They can also, here they can do so much things here. They can do import, export in CSV or JSON. So if, let's say, they had a list of cities, because you see here when we're creating our pagination items, it's a list of cities. So maybe you gave them, or they collected a list of cities, a list of keywords, they can import it and create this from CSVs to prepare. And then the bots, once the bots see a new entry with draft, the bot will automatically pick it up without them having the bots on their computers. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
But you can also, Ryan, if you want to use their computers as a CPU and as RAM source, and also to give them a bit more learning, you can let them use RTILA like I'm using here. They can run this GMAP 1, GMAP 2, GMAP 3 on their computer. You can also delegate that part. And the good thing here is that all this data is not saved locally. They only push and pull data to your online database. They don't have to deal with files on their local computer.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Welcome.
So,
I think
Cyrus and Eric have got their hands raised.
Yes. Let's. Who was first? The one who was first, please.
I think it was Eric, but don't.
No, Cyrus.
Cyrus, was it? Cyrus.
Yeah. So my question, once this gets up and running, it's going to get a lot of data, which is great.
Yes.
But data is only as valuable as how accurate it is.
Mhm.
So what are you thinking for like maintaining it
Yes.
and keeping it up to date?
Yes, very good. And I think it joins to what Tanel was saying. So you see here in our program, we are still in the first phase, which is what we call the scrap end. We are just starting to go into the back end, yeah? So right now, what we are worrying about is acquiring the data, even though it's not perfect, it's not complete, but we want to get it from the sources because some sources may disappear, Cyrus. For example, if you're doing trade fairs, the trade fairs, they may list their exhibitors until 2 weeks after the trade fair. So you better get the data now. Don't bother about cleaning it or what, just get the data, it could disappear. Or you're paying for a subscription and you're not going to renew it, then let's just acquire the data. That's our advice. Let's get the data acquisition. And then once we have the data acquisition and we have it in PostgreSQL, and you see here, Cyrus, I didn't bother to clean the address. Let me show you. We get the address for this company here, but we put it in the address JSON because later on we will split the country, we will split the state, we will split the city and the street address. We can do that later on. That's what we call here in our training. That's what we call formatting the data. So the phone numbers, sometimes there is a plus, sometimes there is 00, sometimes there is the country number, sometimes there is no country number. So if you want to automate an outreach by SMS or phone, you need to format your phone numbers properly. So we will cover that, how to format phones, how to verify emails, how to test the emails if they are valid or not. That is what we call data formatting. And then we do data enrichment. And Cyrus, to reply your question, data enrichment is what can be like on a recurrent basis. Like you keep on enriching and you target some specific sources where the data is being refreshed. And in our automation, Cyrus, if I show you right very quickly here, in this one, I think, get the listings. We already coded for you to avoid duplicates. In our batch command here, you can say check for duplicates, so that when you're updating the data, only the new data gets written. So if there is no new data, there is nothing new in that source, then it will not write in your database and it will save resources. So we plan that, we will make this of use as we go and as we enrich on a recurrent basis. Does that answer at least a bit your question?
Yeah, I think enrichment is just going to be its own phase. And
Exactly.
But yeah, I think it answered my question because it was mainly about the ongoing cleaning, I guess, of the data.
That's also maybe in step 4. So you have 2 ways of cleaning the data, Cyrus, and this is a good point actually. We can use RTILA to clean the data. So in RTILA we have multiple commands like email testing, email formatting, separate the first name from the last name, find the gender, separate the zip code. We can do that with RTILA bots, but you can also do something a bit more dynamic, Cyrus. If you go into your Directus here and you go to settings, there is a whole automation flow management here. So I can create a flow that I call, for example, phone formatting, and I want to format it on the fly. Format phone numbers to international standard, for example. And then I can save this. And here I can trigger this based on either another flow or an RTILA. RTILA can call this as an event, as a hook, and you can have, for example, say once there is an item updated. You see here, an item has been updated in the organization table. Kick off this flow, and this flow will do whatever conditional logic, run a script, do whatever, and then you can continuously and dynamically act upon that data and clean it as soon as it lands on your database. So these are the 2 ways you can create, and we will help you guys with some flows that we know are useful. We created a couple of them that we can use for Directus. Cyrus, is that complementing the answer?
Yeah, that was perfect. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. I think Eric, yeah?
Yeah, before I have to run because
Yes,
I'm home
please,
alone
Eric.
dad and we need to sleep. You mentioned that we can run multiple RTILA instances, so projects on one database, right?
Yes.
So when is that? Is there a plan that we share our projects and have each other's projects run on our own computers to speed up everyone's process?
Yeah, so you have actually, you can speed that up even more. We can cover it later on when we are scaling. Right now we are not yet scaling. So when you have a project, Eric, let's say this GMAP 1, GMAP 2, GMAP 3, right? GMAP 1, you're going to use it maybe just once and then it creates all the URLs, so then it's not running all the time. But GMAP 2 and GMAP 3 are the automations that will be running a lot in the background, yeah?
Right.
So what you can do is that you can run them inside RTILA Studio, but you can also here, you can generate a standalone bot. And this standalone bot is going to be an executable file. You see here, if I create now, I'm going to save it as an executable file and I'm going to put it in my documents. And now you see here, I have this bot. Where is it? Here, this bot. So now you can actually run this bot, and these bots, they consume less memory than RTILA Studio because RTILA Studio comes with the whole design interface. But this bot will just run that automation. You see here, it's going to start, it loads Node.js. So you can run 3, 4, 5, 6 of these on the same computer. They are much more light and they are standalone. And also maybe here, Ryan, you could also, instead of giving full automations, a full RTILA Studio project to your students or workers, you can give them standalone executables and they just have to execute them at specific hours. And you can see here, it's doing the same job as RTILA Studio, but in a much more lightweight and as a standalone software. So it's actually a software. It's like you exported it as a software. You see, it's taking the coordinates, it's writing in Directus, and this is much more scalable. Does it answer a little bit your question?
Absolutely, thank you very much.
Super.
The thing or the thought that I just had was maybe we can share our standalone bots then with the community and have them, run on 10 computers instead of just and stuff like that. That was just the idea.
I think it's a good idea because we all have multiple VPSs and multiple computers. We could this is part, Eric, of our discussion about creating our own Apollo together, guys, as a community. So we can share these automations, and then Zach is scrapping 1,000 per day, Tanel is scrapping another 2,000 per day, I'm scrapping 10,000, you're scrapping 5,000 until we reach 50 million as a community, and then we monetize that big database together. Yes, definitely, Eric. I think we will do that maybe once we are all acquiring these good practices. So maybe in 3 months, when we have gone through the formatting and the enrichment of data, we can set up one big server for all of us to create our own, let's call it RTILA community Apollo, for example. And then we can give ourselves credits. For example, Eric, if you push in 10,000 listings, we give you 10x in value. You can get 100,000 out of the database so that everybody can give a bit and get more out of it. It's give and take.
Love the idea.
Yes, and we can monetize it. So those who do not contribute by time and effort, they pay a subscription, and then we split the money between us, guys, depending on how much we populated data into that common database. So kind of a cooperative community, how you call it, crowd created Apollo.
I personally love that idea, by the way.
Cyrus, so let's do it. Let's just wait a bit and we will prepare the server and let's do it. Make a bit of money on the side and get tons of leads between us. Thank you, Eric. And sorry, I didn't get it in your initial question.
Appreciate it all. Thank you very much, Mohammed.
You're welcome. So Germany, it's on you. Guys, we will have all the German businesses. And Estonia is on Tanel. So Tanel, you give us Estonia, we give you American businesses, Canadian businesses, and other countries.
Well, Estonia is so small. It's like,
No, but
running
it's
for 2
small,
hours until.
but it's so much value, so much data, so much quality data.
No, available. Yeah, it's 200,000 businesses. You can have all the data like there. Which is
It's amazing.
great, so.
Yeah, 200,000 businesses with email, phone numbers, and people. It's huge.
Even the people names, people emails, people phones.
Yeah, yeah. That's an Apollo in the wild. We just need to go and grab it.
But of course, just to say that, still the scraping all the databases and making this, we putting all together. I think the biggest value still comes if we can, on top of that big databases, offer some more services like cold outreach and these, because the database access, you can ask maybe $20, $50, per month, and businesses are ready to pay. But real value, when we can start to understand how to use and offer it to the businesses. So then it's not 20, 50 or 100, it's 1,200, 2,000, 3,000 euros per month. That's where we can really create value for ourselves and for the businesses and everybody. So
yeah, that's Tanel what we are meaning by point 7 here when we monetize data, because if we enrich data in a smart way, it doesn't have necessarily to be paid data. It's just like we are making the right relationships and we're connecting the dots. Or we add intent. We add intent data, labeling, triggering, and then we present it, and then we can, like you said, we can go high value. So the idea at the end, for most of us, we will be able to pull all this data that we enriched and offer it as a SaaS or as an API. And then the next step, Tanel, is that as you are getting users in that SaaS business, your teams and your customers, your partners, they will be also writing data in your database. Now you have user logs. Now you have your initial dataset plus the user logs. You can train your own LLM. You can train your own AI model on that particular industry with that particular dataset. And then you can sell or rent or sell the IP of that AI model, which is like, for example, an AI model specialized in plumbery accessories delivery or whatever it is in this region. There is no LLM that is trained on that dataset because only you have that dataset. So the dataset is really the gold mine that we are after, guys. And that's why we are taking so much efforts and energy, and we are going a bit slowly. But if we do it right, every one of you guys will have your own unique, qualitative, semantic, enriched dataset in a specific niche where you will not have much competition. That's the idea. Dr. Charity, I think you're also into something big, so hopefully we see you pulling up something very nice. And if you have few words, Dr. Charity, please don't be shy. Any feedback, any advice. If not, it's fine as well. No problem. Did we miss another hands, guys? Yeah, sure. Anytime, Dr. Charity. I don't know if Jasmine is here. Justin, are you here? Yeah, Jasmine is here. Unless it's her note taker. It's her note taker. Okay. Justin, welcome. I think you received your Directus instance, so I think we can start soon pushing data into it. So if you have, please don't feel shy if you have any question. Eli, are you still on time?
Yeah, I'm still here. I've been kicked out of the room by my partner.
Okay, sorry for that.
So I've been promoted to the bathroom.
That's geolocation. We're gonna get your latitude and longitude.
Why did I come to Slovakia? I don't know.
Yes. I see
I'm enjoying myself. I'm actually in awe of just the whole process of everything, especially the pennies dropping when it comes to enriching the data, because we can enrich it in a customized way depending on what we need for ourselves and our clients.
That's right. And
starting with Google, GMAPs is perfect, right? Because you know their data is spot on.
Yeah.
And then you can add social media content to those individual listings. Plus, you can add, who knows, it could be financial reports to the companies.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, and so on and so forth. So
so many things.
No one's got your data set because you've accumulated by putting building blocks together and creating something quite unique. And I think the point is to have a goal, what you're going to do with the data set. Because if you've got the goal, then you know what building blocks you're putting together, if that makes sense.
No, definitely. And also we all have our own experiences and our own business intelligence that we put in this data set. And that's also a unique addition. But I want to highlight another point, Eli, is that even if you guys are not sure, sorry, I think, is it your microphone? The echo, Eli? Yes. Okay, thank you, Eli. So for all of you guys and whoever will be watching, is that do not be intimidated by not knowing what you want to really do at the end, like very precisely. Because something very interesting that you could call magic happens when you start to gather data. The data starts to speak to you. So things that you did not expect at the beginning, you did not see, but once you accumulate data, there is geolocation, there are sentiment analysis, there is SEO analysis of the website, you have keywords, you have this, social media. Then you start to say, oh, boom, boom, some lights, some bulb lights, they start to happen, and then you find your added value that you're going to add to that data set. So you guys don't be shy. And from my experience, this bulb or this click happens when you go beyond 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 rows of data. The data starts to speak. If you go into the million and 2 million, wow, like just the analytics of the data, the differences in time, geolocation, and small keywords, that's statistically wise, you have the statistics that people can pay for it, even if there is no enrichment yet. So that's what I suggest. I hope it makes some sense. And Zach, do you mind please reading the chats, because I can't see the chats. I just see like for momentarily. I think you're mute, Zach. You're still mute?
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly.
I'm so sorry. And again, I apologize for my tardiness. Yeah, the chat that I just put in was, am I crazy by thinking of this group working together on automation projects that monetize as being kind of like Bitcoin mining together? I think that it might be a fun way for us to promote it to prospective buyers, because many people regret that they did not get involved in the Bitcoin mining 10 years ago. And there's a very similar opportunity. In fact, there is scarcity with Bitcoin. It's almost all of it has been mined. That will not happen with data.
That's right. So, that's right. No, yeah, thank you very much, Zach, because you bring back again another very interesting point that we can work on as a community. So we have that common data set of leads that we can build together. But also we talked on this with Ed, I think, and somebody else. We are buying GPUs because we are aware of the power of the GPU now from the AI perspective. So maybe, Zach, you will have that computer with 128 gigabytes of RAM for GPU. I have 100 gigabytes, you know, like 10 of us, we have 1 terabyte of GPU RAM. That means that we are a data center. We are a GPU data center. So like you said, what the graphic cards were used to mine Bitcoin is what our graphic cards can be used to vectorize data. That's the equivalent of Bitcoin in the data. People will have documents, images, but it takes a lot of GPU power to convert it into a vector. So we can offer that hardware power together as a community. We can come up with 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes of GPU RAM, probably bigger than some data centers. We shared it last week. We can create a distributed network, and I think Bill, we may rely on you on that. So we could build that kind of business model as well, Zach, definitely. Bill, are you connected?
Sure, I'm connected. Sorry, I'm just
yes.
listening, trying to catch up. I haven't been on here in months. But yeah, it looks exciting. I mean, after a couple of months that I haven't been on, you guys have advanced quite a bit. And just on the scaling part, I think, once we get there, I can definitely help. I just did, like I said, I just did the second biggest e-commerce for semantic search with billions of this data. So we can get there.
That's amazing. Yeah, Bill dealt with billions of vectors. That's an astronomous amount to deal with. So yes, Bill, thank you very much. And we're happy. We're ready to learn from you when the time comes.
Certainly.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, now I can see the chats. So maybe I can go through the chats. Yes, Eric is always in.
Of course.
Off topic, Bitcoin, all height, yes, split users. So is this a bot doing some notes?
Yes, I think there is one.
Wow, that's huge. Yeah, fireflies. Okay, guys, if there is, please highlight, or how you call it, raise your hand if you have questions so that we can see. I can go through here as we are reaching now to the hour and a half. But like maybe as a feedback, hopefully we are going into the right direction. Maybe a bit slower than expected, but I think the dominoes, or how you call it, the building blocks are coming together. We're gonna start to scrape and enrich more and more as we go, guys. And also we can take more agents now we have automated the setup of the VPS servers and Directus. So we're happy whoever wants to upgrade or join the program, because when we started with a small group, a dozen or two, but I think now our capacity by the end of the month will go up. Thanks, Zach. Please feel free. And how can I bring back to see everyone? Okay, let's share back the screen. Okay. I think I'm messing up things. Let's see. Yes, Bill, please. I see your hand raised.
Sure. So maybe you guys discussed it when I wasn't here, but is there any way, like, just for like when you're trying to evade bot monitoring, is there any way that we do like IP rotation and things like that?
Yes. So we have many things to do that. We have IP rotation, fingerprint rotation, proxying, and we also have integration with incognit browser. Then you can benefit from specific sessions that you created with banking systems or other. We will cover that very soon. We haven't covered it yet.
Okay. And then as far as like the bot itself, I saw there was an executable. Is it because just it's on Windows, or can you run it on any? Is it multi-platform?
It's multi-platform. You can generate it for Mac and for Linux as well.
Cool. All right. Thanks.
Yes, you're welcome. And the standalones, Bill, we talked a bit about it. The standalones, I don't know if you saw in the logs, it was installing Node.js. So it's
okay.
Yeah. So the standalone will have access to the desktop operating system and the browser. So basically, whatever you've prepared should run there as well.
Cool. Thanks.
Welcome. Okay, let's see questions. Is it Eric? Are you raising your hand? There's something flickering.
No, I'm sorry.
No? No, sorry. Okay, let's see here. Eli had to go, I guess. So anybody?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, you're still here, Eli?
Yeah. I told you I've been banned to the bathroom. I can't leave.
I forgot. So let's have a quick look, please, at the chat, or I find back how to put back the window. Here we go. Now I can see more people. Yes. Any more questions, guys? Please don't be shy. We're happy to spend another few minutes. But we're also happy to, if there is no added value, we're also happy to release Eli from his little prison.
Oh, please. Especially with this heated floor and I'm lying on it.
That's the warrior attitude.
Can Mohammed,
yes, I think.
could you recap real quick what you shared with Bill? You said incognito, and I think you said two other things before that, and I missed them. I apologize.
Yes, of course. So let me show you actually so that we can have this also, so that you can see what I'm talking about. So when we have any automation that is running, and you may need it when you do massive scrapping and fast scrapping of even Google, is that here, let's collapse this. When you click new command, we have what we call switch browser identity. So if you put this command on the top, you can basically mimic a desktop, a tablet, a mobile, or you can randomly switch between mobile, desktop, and so on, so that your bot doesn't appear as being the same type of device that is accessing the website. So this gets us through some how you call it, some anti-bot measures for free. And then what we also have, we have the clear cookies. So like every time you load a page, you clear your cookies so that for the website, it's like a new visitor that came in. They don't have a history that you visited 100 pages. So that this clears the cookies. These are two free options. And we have another one, which is called proxying. We have a documentation about this. So this will rotate your proxy and change your IP, your location, and make you look like you're in Sweden or Norway or Singapore or New York or whatever, every time you load the page. And this works with premium proxying that you have to pay on the side. It costs a couple of dollars per 1,000 loads or per gigabyte, but it's worth it. So this is how, with these three combination of commands from RTILA, you can evade or change your signature as a bot. And finally, there is our integration with Incogniton, and actually we're going to do one more integration with Incogniton, but let me show you first the Incogniton browser. So this is a browser that is designed to create login sessions on secure websites. So Ryan, let's say you want to scrape your bank statement of your company. So you do an RTILA bot, or you want somebody to develop an RTILA automation that scrapes your transactions from your e-banking, but you do not want to share your e-banking access. So what you do is that you download Incogniton, you launch Incogniton as a browser, which I have here. You see here, I'm going to launch Incogniton. And then you create the session, you log in to your e-banking inside Incogniton. And then I'm going to show you, let's say I created this browser profile, it's called. And then when I click here, when I click on it, I get the profile ID. So I copy this profile ID where I am already logged in my e-banking. And then when I have in RTILA my project here, I stop it. I go to the configure, and here you see Incogniton profile. I paste my Incogniton profile. Now RTILA is not going to launch Chrome, it's going to launch Incogniton with your e-banking session and do the job. And this way you don't expose your login and password. So Incogniton has a double advantage. Not only it allows you to hide, to give access to your teams to sensitive websites without giving them credentials, that's one, to automate bank statements or whatever it is. And second, it allows you to create a complete different signature with a specific IP address, so you can emulate a Mac OS, Mac computer or Linux computer. So that's these are all the options available. And we will cover them as we go, Ryan. When we do the scaling, we will cover these.
Excellent, thank you.
Yes, but there should be enough choice for us. Okay, thank you, Ryan, for the questions. Any other questions? Eli, if you spot something, I'm reorganizing my windows.
Yeah, not so far. I must admit, we're all in awe, to be honest, and it's very rare I'm speechless, and I am this week, to be honest.
So it's not the location that makes you speechless.
Yeah, very much so, right?
No, I think we have all been patient and working hard behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. But hopefully, when we break through, guys, when we break through the scrape end, and we go into structuring the data, enriching, that will become more fun. And also we will all value more our time that we spent on all this learning and all this preparation. So bear with us. We're still going through the scrape end phase, which is a bit of a pain.
For the bots with
Yes.
incognit and stuff, you also have something for reCAPTCHA, right?
Oh yes, you're right. Thank you, Cyrus. Let me show that as well. We have an integration with 2Captcha. So 2Captcha is interesting because they get humans to solve the CAPTCHA. So they have a whole army of people around the world, and they have an API. So when there is those CAPTCHA where you have to choose some images or whatever, so indeed we can do that. We have an integration with 2Captcha, and then I can activate it as well. So I'm not going to save this. And the command, I will just show you the command very quickly, Cyrus. So if you go here and you look for CAPTCHA, solve reCAPTCHA, you just put your 2Captcha API key, and then you have to slot this in the place and the moment where the CAPTCHA appears. If there is no CAPTCHA, it will just, it will just continue, you know. You can just put continue silently, it will time out and continue. If there is a CAPTCHA, it will solve it. Thank you for this, Cyrus. And we will be adding a lot of things, guys. Right now, maybe not to overwhelm, but we have prepared a whole series of encryption commands to encrypt data. So let's say you have a project and you don't want the data that is exchanged to be publicly. So we have PKI, public key infrastructure, that we're preparing with RTILA. So for banking, insurance, or medical, we can encrypt everything, including inside the database or inside RTILA bots. So we will address all these security issues and things as we go. And for you guys who have the instances, we have also secured our instances with SSL from Cloudflare, and we are using the best free security available, which is Google Trust SSL certificate on the front end, and then we have a Google certificate. We have a Cloudflare certificate between your server and Cloudflare server, and then we block the traffic from the web. We only accept the traffic that is coming from Cloudflare. So this is also, we covered it together, Cyrus. It's called Cloudflare Full SSL. We are activating this mode for you guys, which encrypts everything between the browser and the Cloudflare. And between Cloudflare and us, we have a double certificate. And this allows us to benefit from IP proxying, from anti-DOS attacks protection, from CDN, and from firewall, all for free from Cloudflare. So this gives us like a very good setup for us to not to worry or spend money on security at the moment. But of course, once we start to have valuable data, we will also, in our group, there are security experts, and we can bring in some more security expertise and hardening as we go. We're in the 1 hour and a half.
My God, on time.
Yes, Eli, if we don't see any questions, and we've unzipped a lot, I think, today. So I will try to see with the team if we can publish the video and the transcription so that whoever wants to come back to this can come back to it. But if there is no other interactions, Eli, the honor to you again for the closure.
Well, as always, we're in awe with how simple you're making everything come over, and especially with the security. Wasn't expecting that at all, whatsoever. So thank you for the security side of it, because it's going to be essential for the enterprise side of it, especially with what we were speaking about the other week, right?
Yeah.
Companies that we're working with. So look, I'm so glad that I'm on this project. We all are so glad we're on this project. And once again, Mohammed, thank you.
Thank you, Eli. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
And let's follow up. Let's follow up also on. Let's follow up on rtila.com/community. We will put the project files for you guys in a couple of hours. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So everyone, any last questions, anyone, before we come off?
Yeah, just in case, yes.
No? Okay, with that said, sayonara.
Sayonara. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mohammed.
See you.
Thank you all.
See you. Thank you.